Hey folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast. This week's news brought to you by, well, this clip of Paul Dano at the end of the movie, The Batman.
No! This is not how this was supposed to go! I had it all planned out!
Yes, folks, it is an end of an era as something truly terrible transpired last week. Amazon MGM Studios has purchased all creative control of the James Bond franchise from the now previous holders, Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli. Amazon purchased MGM Studios back in 2022 for $8.5 billion, gaining control of its 17,000 TV episodes and over 4,000 movie titles. When it came to 007, though, Amazon had the right to show the movies on its streaming service, and of course had control of the theatrical distribution for the new films, along with sharing profits from the catalog. But up until now, the creative control of the franchise, all new projects, and film decisions belong to Eon Productions, who's owned by the Broccoli family, specifically Barbara and Michael. Back in 1961, Eon Productions was founded by two men, Harry Saltzman and Albert R. Broccoli. They had a specific goal in mind to obtain the movie rights to Ian Fleming's James Bond. And in only 1 year, the two managed to reach a deal and produce Dr. No in 1962. After 9 years with the company and producing, Harry Saltzman sold all of his shares to United Artists. And Eon Productions was in the control of the Broccoli family, where it remains today. Albert Broccoli passed away in 1996 at the age of 87 and left his daughter Barbara and his stepson Michael largely in control. Barbara and Michael had already been a part of the Bond films for years, but started to have full decision power with 1995's GoldenEye. The two have been the driving force of the franchise for the past 30 years. Barbara being the most involved in recent years, playing a part in every single decision along the way. Over 60 years and 25 James Bond movies, controlled by a tight-knit group, mostly family, caring greatly about the character. It's one of the longest ongoing franchises, and nothing comes close to the intimate creative control that a small party had on such a large property. Barbara and Michael are highly respected by the Bond fans and saw them as great stewards of 007. After Amazon purchased MGM, there was fear that Amazon would expand the scope of Bond, and in the worst-case scenario, try to create some sort of Bond television movie cinematic universe. The fears were quieted, though, because of Barbara's strong devotion to the character. Everyone talks about the whole will James Bond ever be a girl and how Barbara has stood against that firmly, but there was so much more. When Amazon approached the idea of making a Moneypenny TV show, Barbara turned it down. When they had other spin-off ideas and pitched it to her, she turned it down. She got real angry when Amazon executives said that James Bond was just a brand, and she constantly pushed back when Amazon would make proposals for their own casting and plot decisions. Overall, Barbara had a distrust with Amazon that was mirrored by many of the Bond fans. It was reported in 2024 that the relationship had all but collapsed, and Barbara had privately told friends that the Amazon executives were f***ing idiots. Some who were close to the family said that if there was an obvious choice for the next actor to helm 007, this may not have happened, but after more than 2 years of a fraught relationship, it appears that Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson could not take it anymore and are relinquishing that creative control to Amazon. After, of course, Amazon ponied up what is being reported as a $1 billion payday for Barbara and Michael. The two parties have reached a deal and are forming what they are calling a new joint venture to house the Bond intellectual property rights, with Broccoli and Wilson remaining co-owners of the franchise. So get ready, folks, for the BCU. The Bond Cinematic Universe is on its way. An end of an era for sure. The ending of the last Bond film, No Time to Die, did break some rules and slightly upset some big Bond fans, but looking back at it now, seems rather poetic. Michael made the following statement following the announcement, quote, "With my 007 career spanning nearly 60 incredible years, I am stepping back from producing James Bond films to focus on art and charitable projects. Therefore, Barbara and I agree it is time for our trusted partner, Amazon MGM Studios, to lead James Bond into the future." Upon getting the news, Daniel Craig had this to say, quote, "My respect, admiration, and love for Barbara and Michael remain constant and undiminished. I wish Michael a long, relaxing, and well-deserved retirement, And whatever ventures Barbara goes to do, I know they will be spectacular, and I hope I can be a part of them. In other news, folks, the Screen Actors Guild had some awards on Sunday. Chalamet won Best Actor, Demi Moore won for Best Actress for her role in Substance, Kieran Culkin won Supporting Actor in A Real Pain, Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez, and the big award for the Screen Actors Awards, the outstanding performance by a cast in a motion picture, went to the film Conclave, with John Lithgow, Ralph Fiennes, Sergio Castelletto, and Isabella Rossellini accepting the award. Martin Scorsese has a buyer for his next project. A bidding war broke out when the film was announced, and the movie will most likely go to Netflix for production, as it is rumored that the streaming giant is putting up $200 million to make the film. Now, the reason that this may be his next film is because Scorsese has a lot of projects in the pipeline, and it's all a little gray how far along, or if at all, those projects are. And they basically all have Leonardo DiCaprio in them as well, just as this newly announced film does also. It's set in the 60s and 70s and has Leo starring with none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's looking to be a Hawaiian mob boss movie, so we'll see. Marty has hired a writer for the film, but the script is not written yet. But with a guaranteed $200 million if the deal goes through, it's possible that this gets fast-tracked. The movie probably can't be made this year, though, because Leonardo's filming time will most likely be taken up by director Damien Chazelle. And this leads us into our next story, where Damien is set to start filming his next project this summer, with Leo starring as none other than Evel Knievel. The film is kind of a biopic, where it is focused on only 1 year of Knievel's life. The movie came close to being on hold because of Chazelle's poor-performing film Babylon, but Paramount was quick to grab up the new movie once when Leo was on board. And in fact, DiCaprio was going to star in it, then he had to back out. That part then went to Brad Pitt, who might have actually been a better pick, honestly, only for the role to go back to DiCaprio now. So, I don't know. But Leo is on the move. He just wrapped up Paul Thomas Anderson's film, which will be coming this summer. Now he's filming with Damien this summer, and is on deck for Scorsese's next film. So the man is not stopping anytime soon. Let's jump into the box office for this weekend, and fifth best for the past weekend went to Heart Eyes with $2.7 million. Fourth was Dog Man with $5.9 million, and that's now made over $100 million worldwide. And third for this weekend was Our Buddy Paddington in Peru, making $6.5 million. Second was The Monkey with $14 million. And the number one movie for this weekend was Captain America: Brave New World, bringing in $28.2 million, a worldwide total of $290 for that film right now. Coming up this week on the Daily Ratings, Vincent Daly will be watching, rating, and reviewing Guys and Dolls, directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz. That's taking the final slot in our Footwork February. We have Mulholland Drive from 2001, wrapping up our David Lynch study. And finally, the newly released film of the week, the previously mentioned The Monkey, a horror comedy film. And that's the news of the week, folks. So we'll just leave you today with a quote from a producer, Barbara Broccoli. My life has been dedicated to maintaining and building upon the extraordinary legacy that was handed to Michael and me by our father, producer Cubby Broccoli. I've had the honor of working closely with 4 of the tremendously talented actors who have played 007 and thousands of wonderful artists within the industry. With the conclusion of No Time to Die and Michael retiring from the films, I feel it is time to focus on my other projects. And all right, folks, the Daily Ratings Weekly Movie News Podcast, that was it. See you on Thursday.